hey, if you're healing trauma and you're kind of in a place where you're stuck and you're really, really wanting to make that push through it and just like move forward and move past it, go ahead and stick around. I have a little thing that I did recently and it really helped a lot. So first and foremost, if you are not in a place in your healing journey for like the forgiveness side of things, then you might want to just skip along, and I don't think that this will be for you yet. But maybe save, so that way when you get to that point, you can come back to it. So I had this altercation that happened a handful of days ago, and I had to set some boundaries, and I was 100% sure, and am still sure of my stance, and I did the things I needed to do. However, I did realize that after the event, themes of anger were starting to come up, and I was very confused by this because me myself, I wasn't like angry or anything like that. So I was trying to figure out like where was this anger coming from. That's when I realized that this anger was coming from me as a child that had experienced like trauma and silencing or dealing with people being like just doing things, manipulating things, or whatever the case may be. So I started realizing that my inner child was running dialogue and like running reasons as to why this person's doing the things, or, you know, what is their intentions, what is, you know, I could feel the mental spiral of my inner child starting to manifest. So I quickly acknowledged it and I validated my inner child's feelings of this anger and stuff like that. I wanted to make sure that she knew that she was seen and heard. But this is where the flip takes place, is acknowledging and invalidating, but no longer affirming this reality anymore. So what was happening is that my inner child, I was letting that energy take over in the sense that she was running dialogue of villainizing the person, essentially, making the intentions instead of actually knowing the intentions or assuming the intentions, you know, stuff like that. And even if the assumptions are real or not, the whole entire point of this jump right here is to look at the person that is upsetting you or triggering you, whatever the case may be, and looking at them in the eyes of just complete compassion and seeing them as a wounded child that is lashing out and doing harm and causing pain on others because they are feeling and experiencing that pain themselves. So what you're doing is you're seeing them with the eyes of compassion and just wishing nothing but healing and love upon that person, and hope that they find a way to find that compassion for themselves, so that way they can move through this trigger point for themselves, essentially. Because what you did, like during the altercation, they got triggered by what I was saying because they have deeper wounds that also need to be recognized. So by having that compassion and sending love and healing, I, for the situation and any situations before, with this person, I was able to stop labeling them as the villain of my story, and knowing that if I have villains, that means that I am a victim. And I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. And I pulled that energy from my inner child out of that timeline and into this one by these babies are being crazy. But I did it by showing her how I no longer resonate with the energies that she's feeling angry about. Like I'm not that. We're not that. I've grown. I've matured. I have, to an extent, but we're different. And so this allowed that anger to become peace within my inner child, because she felt safe with me and felt safe in my energy of knowing, you know, what we're gonna do. And yeah, so after doing this though and making this change, I literally just instantly felt so much better. Like, I felt so at peace, and like that dialogue just, it stopped, it ceased. My brain felt, I mean, there's still so much going on in this brain, but at least that's one less thing to run in my head. Thank goodness.